Hey there guys, Aldershot here, and today we're going to do an early impression on Crypt of the Necrodancer, developed by Brace Yourself Games, and currently on sale on Steam's early access for the regular price of $15. Now this is on early access, so I do want to remind everybody out there that if you are curious to Crypt of the Necrodancer, I do recommend at the very least checking out Steam's page on the game, just to check up on the latest version, as by the time you watch this video, things could have changed, new features added, etc, etc. So do keep up on that. The link will be in the description for your convenience, of course. So what is Crypt of the Necrodancer anyways? Well, it's kind of an interesting blend of genres. It's basically a combination of roguelikes or roguelites or procedural death labyrinths, whatever you want to call it, with traditional kind of rhythm-based games. Alright, so it's kind of interesting in that way. It's definitely something that kind of captured me a little bit. But, you know, it'll have the standard procedurally generated levels, as well as procedurally generated items, permadeath, and it is a turn-based game as well. But the turns are based off of the beat of the music. Alright, so that's where the rhythm part kind of comes in. Your character can really only move with the beat of the game, and that makes it kind of interesting. Now we're kind of in the player hub area. This is where you'll go in between matches. It is a roguelite's procedural death labyrinth after all, so you'll be spending some time here. But anyways, let's actually get into the game. We'll talk about the hub area a little bit down the road, but anyways, now if you notice on the bottom of the screen, you'll see a heart with a bunch of kind of lines flowing towards it. That is essentially the rhythm meter, let's say. It's very similar to what you'll find in, let's say, Guitar Hero, for example. And basically you're going to want to move to the beat of the game. And each line represents the beat, and each beat represents a turn as well. And as I mentioned before, this is a turn-based game. Alright, so you can take an action with each beat. Now, if you miss the beat, you take an action off beat, let's say. I'll start just mashing the move buttons. As you can see, you'll start seeing lots of misses. That's bad, because when you kill a mob, I'll show you now, when you kill a mob, you'll start gaining multipliers. And the whole goal is to really collect as much gold in your journey as possible. I'm missing a lot of beats right now because I'm kind of giving live commentary while playing this game, trying not to die, and keeping to the beat at the same time. So it's kind of like chewing gum and walking while riding a bike on top of a car at the same time. Don't ask me how I'm walking and riding a bike at the same time, but I'm doing it, and it's very, very difficult. But anyways, yeah, as you can see, you're going to want to take your turn with the beat, and as long as you keep taking an action with every single beat, you'll keep that modifier, and the higher the modifier, the more gold you'll gain. I'm doing a terrible job of keeping that modifier, mainly again because I'm trying to commentate live while playing this very rhythm-based game. But that's generally the premise of the game, and as you can see, the mobs will take their own patterns of movements, and you'll have to kind of strategically place yourself and use your attacks accordingly. Some mobs will move every beat, some mobs will move every second beat, some mobs will move in different patterns, etc, etc. Some mobs will only attack every second beat. You'll just have to kind of trial and error and do your best to kind of strategize your movements with that knowledge. Alright, so it's really, simple way of attacking. I'm dying a lot. I usually do a lot better than this when I'm not trying to commentate and play this at the same time, but there you go. But anyways, now the mobs, as I mentioned, they will move and attack in their own patterns, so you'll have to kind of get used to that and learn from trial and error, essentially. And attacking them is very, very simple. You just have to attack next to them. Now you can pick up different weapons as well, and different items and all that sort of stuff. Stuff that you'll find in Rogue or roguelikes and all that stuff. But yeah, different weapons will have different attributes. For example, I'm using a broadsword, so I can actually attack diagonally, just like that. Spears will allow me to attack one block away from me, etc, etc. So different weapons will have their own attacks and attributes. Now you can actually dig through specific walls as well, and you can upgrade your shovel as well. Oh, this is a dragon, that's bad news. Oh, I'm doing a terrible job here. Oh, I just got murdered. But anyways, as I was saying, you can actually dig through different materials, and you'll find secrets that way as well, alright? So that's the basic premise of this game. I would actually compare this to a rhythm-based checkers game. If you're going to break down the mechanics to its most simple form. Just then I missed a beat, so I lost my modifier. But I've been losing my modifier this whole playthrough, so I don't mind that right now. Now, the reason I'm kind of comparing this to checkers is because, like checkers, is very much about the turn-to-turn strategy. Now, some could argue that could be sort of like chess as well, because the enemies have different attack patterns, kind of like the pieces in chess, and as you pick up new weapons and abilities through your traverse of the dungeon, you'll also have different attack patterns and strategies, kind of like chess as well. But the reason why I want to compare it to checkers rather than say chess is because chess is more about the grand strategies, about planning like 9 turns ahead. Whereas checkers is a little bit more about... I just died again. You're going to see a lot of deaths in this playthrough. But checkers is more about the turn-to-turn strategy, which this game reminds me of. Where, you know, you are planning ahead to a degree, but more about just 1, maybe 2 turns ahead rather than 9 or 7, in which this game kind of reminds me of. And that's kind of why I'm comparing this to sort of like a musical game of checkers if you were to break the mechanics down. But it certainly is interesting, if nothing else. This blending of genre is certainly, I don't know, it's very, very compelling, to be completely honest. It's a very simple premise that's easy to understand, but once you get into it, there's a lot of depth and challenge to this as well. You're going to want to really plan ahead, and it's not just a lot of cerebral planning of your movements and countering enemy movements and all that, but it's also has a degree of rhythm-based reflexes as well. You're really going to want to take an action every single turn, otherwise you'll lose that modifier like I've been doing this whole time. But yeah, it is kind of interesting in that way. Not to mention, the pixel art is actually quite nice. Ooh, I picked up a bow, which is pretty awesome. It allows me to attack from great distances, of course. But yeah, the pixel art is actually really, really nice. It's of a very high quality. There's a lot of like little animations and little touches in the pixel art that makes it very, very interesting. The idle animation is absolutely beautiful. The movement animation is absolutely beautiful. It has its own kind of unique style to the art. So yeah, as far as visuals go, it is actually quite gorgeous. Now, let's take a look at the hub here. Alright, you can actually kind of upgrade, pseudo upgrade I want to say. Like, as you play through the game, you'll collect diamonds, and those currency are used to unlock these things here. Basically, when you pick one up, you'll have the opportunity to pick up one of these items in a chest when you're in a dungeon. So you don't get the item, but you get the possibility of picking up the item in the game. So that's what I mean by kind of pseudo progression. Same over here. Over here is more of the magical items that you can purchase, and on the left side that you just saw is more of the physical stuff like armor and weapons and stuff like that. And over here is more of the permanent upgrades. Like, I bought out all the health upgrades. Originally there was only 3 hearts, but as you get more diamonds and buy more permanent upgrades, you'll get more health as you begin each dungeon. You can also collect more coins if you buy this, and you also have a higher chance of finding chests if you buy this. So it, like I said, it does have a pseudo kind of progression system, which I guess would make this a roguelite, maybe. But it's not quite as heavy-handed as, say, Rogue Legacy. Alright. Let's see, there's also Beastmaster, where you can kind of practice your combat skills with specific mobs. As I mentioned before, each mob will present its own attack and movement patterns. So this kind of mode is really made for practice for the hardcores. Even in practice, I suck at this. But yeah, it gives you a little kind of arena mode for you to practice against each individual mob, which is actually pretty nice. There's also daily challenges, stuff that you'll find in, let's say, Spelunky, for example. I've already did it and failed terribly, so you can only do it once every 24 hours. There's also local co-op as well. Now, local co-op's kind of interesting, because you actually control the key with the arrows on the keyboard. But in local co-op, you control both characters on one keyboard, WASD and the arrows. So theoretically, you can actually play two characters at once as single player. Actually, I have no idea what I just entered. Let's get out of this. Back to the lobby. So let's try that just for the lulz. So this is gonna be really difficult. I gotta move with the beat while commentating while playing two characters at the same time. This has to be some sort of crazy record for multitasking. And I'm doing a terrible job of it already. I don't even know which character I'm controlling currently. But yeah, theoretically, yeah, you can kind of play both characters at once. So that's kind of interesting. But obviously this is made for actual co-op, which is a nice addition. Too bad there's no online multiplayer. I think that would be a nice addition, but local is a nice option, and having options, is never a bad thing. So this should be kind of interesting. Okay, well there's traps as well that will kind of bounce you off the block that you're standing on, which can really actually throw you off in an actual game, because it can throw you off your beat. And obviously in a rhythm-based game, being thrown off your beat is a kind of a big issue. See, we're not dead yet in our co-op game that we're playing solo, so that's a good sign. We're probably going to die pretty soon now, though. I'm not really trying that hard. Strangely enough, while not trying too hard, I think this might be the best playthrough since the beginning of this video, so take that as you will. I really should be attacking those blobs from the side. That's their weak points. A lot of mobs will have kind of weak points as well. Oh, cool! My friend actually respawns if I pass the level. So there you go. There you go. A little knowledge there for you. So I just missed the beat. And I think both players have to keep the beat in order to keep the modifier. I'm pretty sure that's how it works in co-op. So this is certainly very interesting. Anyways, enough screwing around. Let's go back to the lobby, because there's still more to talk about here. But it's really cool that they gave us that option. But as you can see, there's also different characters as well. You can unlock different characters currently because it's early access. There's only a few, but I think there's only like one or maybe two. But you have to unlock it in hardcore mode, and there is a hardcore mode, which is basically what you would call true rogue, or as true rogue as this game will possibly get. As in the pseudo upgrades I was talking about doesn't carry through in this mode, and there's a leaderboard as well. Only rounds played in this mode will count towards leaderboards for obvious reasons. I guess for balance, really. But yeah, there's a hardcore mode for those who are really into these kind of games. And to be honest, if you do really get into Crypt of the Necrodancer, this is probably where you're going to be spending the majority of your time. As far as end game is concerned, you're probably going to want to be trying to climb that leaderboard. You know what? I'm going to just not talk for a little bit and see how well I can do, because I'm not really showing off the true potential of my lack of skill. And talking over while I'm playing is showing off my even lacker of skills. I'm still doing terrible. Oh my god. Let's get out of this. Because, yeah. Let's see, I think that's about it. There's also a tutorial. We're not going to get into that. Let's see, there's also dance pad mode, make it a little bit easier, and it does support dance pad as well, which is kind of nice. And, yeah, there's also extra bonuses over here as well that you have to unlock with specific keys, which I haven't quite yet. So there's even more features that I haven't quite unlocked. Let's just get into a game and play while I kind of sum up the game a little bit. So I gotta say, this is a very interesting game, and it certainly has a lot of features as well. which is good. Lots of different things to experiment when you get used to the game and stuff like that. And as you can see with the kind of practice mode, as well as with the hardcore mode and the leaderboards, this game is catering to the more, I guess you can say, hardcore rogue or roguelite-ish crowd. But at the same time, the game's mechanics is simple enough for any beginner to grasp and understand very, very quickly and easily. Alright? So yeah, the game is actually quite good, I have to say. Is it $15 good? It's going to be really hard for me to answer that. So here's the thing, I got this game as a press copy, so I didn't pay for it. Okay, I'll be completely honest and transparent with you. With that said, I'm going to say that I'm really, really enjoying this game. This is a very, very in-depth roguelite, and it's a very interesting hybrid of genres that's pulled off extremely well. The execution is absolutely ingenious, done very, very well, having each turn pass with the beat of the song, which is fantastic, by the way. I can't believe I haven't mentioned the music yet. The music's absolutely amazing, as you can hear. But yeah, that's a very, very interesting concept, and it works very well, okay? But at the same time, you are going to be repeating a lot of the same stuff over and over again. But that can be said about pretty much any rogue or roguelite or rogue-like game that's out there. So for those who are into roguelikes, roguelites, procedural death labyrinths, etc., etc., this is an easy recommendation. Even as an early access without it being complete, I have to be honest, this game is very stable and it feels very, very playable. It doesn't just feel very, very playable, it feels complete. This package already actually feels like, you know, it's a full game. And obviously as an early access, there'll be more features and more tweaks and mechanics to be added, so I'm really excited to see that. But what if you're not into those type of genres? Well, that's really going to be a personal call. Because like I mentioned before, you are going to be playing through the same materials over and over again. And unless you're into that kind of grind, unless you're into, you know, challenging yourself in that fashion, as you know, these rogue kind of games, they really kind of prey upon the player's desire to get better with every run, but you're not that kind of player, then you are probably going to only find limited value out of this game. You're going to play 1 or 2 stages, then you might grow bored of it because, again, you are playing through the same content over and over again. But if you are new to the rogue genre and you are curious to it, this isn't a terrible introduction at the same time. Like I said, the mechanics are very, very interesting, and in a lot of ways, it really does do its best to keep true to its rogue lineage, let's say. It is very, very turn-based. It is, you know, grid-based kind of combat as well. It features all the classic tropes of roguelikes, you know. Obviously, it's not like, you know, text-looking kind of graphics. That being the biggest difference as far as this compared to more traditional roguelikes. But yeah, I say this as far as a pseudo-rogue, let's call it, is pretty. It does a pretty good job at keeping true to its lineage, its inspiration, as in like the original rogue. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking about this before I get in trouble, before the purists start attacking me. But either way, all I'm saying is this is a quality game. It's very, very enjoyable. And whether this is worth $15 to you or not is going to be very, very subjective. All I can tell you is that I am having fun with this game, and that the mechanics are melded very, very brilliantly. The art and music is of the highest caliber. And that's really about it. Now, usually I like to mention negatives. I haven't actually mentioned any negatives about this game. Let's see. To be honest, I'm having a hard time. Ooh, let's see. Yeah. Ooh, we're gonna definitely spin the diamonds. I'm having a hard time picking out any significant flaws, to be honest. Main thing is I like to see more content for obvious reasons. I like to see a couple more features. Maybe an online mode would be kind of cool. But these aren't even really complaints. They're more like just features that I want to see out of this game. That's that's basically it. I'm a fan of rogues, so that's probably one reason why I'm enjoying this game so much as well. But yeah, there you go, guys. That's Crypt of the Necrodancer. Pretty fun game, I have to say. Very interesting. Good blend of mechanics. Gorgeous arts. Excellent music. Some of the best I've heard for a while. But yeah, there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys found this informative. If you did, show me some love. You know, like, share, fave, and comment. Let me know how badly I'm playing. Yeah, rip me apart. I don't really care. I'm doing absolutely terrible. I'm not keeping to the beat or anything like that. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, do that. Aldershot out.